A new beginning for Sarah Horton, love, loss, and a surprising family reunion. In a heartwarming and surprising twist, Days of Our Lives is setting the stage for a sweeping summer storyline that's sure to pull at the heartstrings of long-time viewers. After a painful custody battle, Sarah Horton finds herself at her lowest in need to discover love in the most unexpected place, in the arms of Brady Black, with a chance to become a mother again to Rachel, the child she once raised as her own. Yes, you read that right. Despite the heartache of losing custody, baby Victoria, Sarah's story is far from over and is heading toward a surprisingly happy ending. A battle lost, a heart broken. When Sarah Horton, played by the always compelling Lindsay Godfrey, first returned to Salem, she hoped to rebuild her life and reclaim her place in her daughter Victoria's world. But the odds were stacked against her. As dual spoilers reveal, Sarah has been on edge for weeks, bracing for the outcome of a brutal custody fight with Xander Kiriakis Portelfer, the father of her child and a man she once loved but no longer trusts. Sarah's fears weren't unfounded. Xander, despite his occasional charm, has long been known for playing dirty and the stakes are high. And when it comes to his daughter, he's willing to do just about anything legal or not. Hints of backdoor dealings with District Attorney Melinda Trustina Huang suggest Xander may have pulled some strings or manipulated the system to secure custody. Sadly, that's exactly what happens. Xander wins. The courtroom loss is devastating for Sarah, who is forced to watch Victoria be handed over to a man she doesn't believe is capable of protecting her. The ruling leaves Sarah emotionally shattered, questioning everything engendering her worth as a mother. A shoulder to cry on becomes something more. But just as Sarah's world begins to crumble, someone unexpected steps in to lift her up. Brady Black Eric Martzov. What started as a friendship built on mutual pain, shared struggles, and late-night conversations and grows into something deeper. Brady, of course, knows a thing or two about loss and complicated relationships. After years of battling with Johnny DiMera over their daughter Rachel, he understands the emotional toll custody fights can take. Brady also understands Sarah's heartbreak better than most. In fact, they have more in common than neither of them ever realize. Over time, Brady becomes Sarah's anchor, helping her navigate her grief. And when Rachel enters the picture, everything changes. Rachel learns the truth and gains a mother. Longtime fans may recall that during Rachel's first year of life, Sarah was the one who cared for her, believing the child was hers. Due to a heartbreaking baby swap orchestrated by Xander and Victor, Sarah didn't know the truth until much later. By the time the truth came out, she had already bonded deeply with Rachel. Now, years later, Rachel is finally told the truth as Sarah raised her during those crucial early months. At first, Rachel is confused and overwhelmed. She confronts Brady, hurt that this truth had been kept from her. But once the dust settles, she finds herself drawn to Sarah in ways she can't explain. Their connection is instant, natural, like the maternal bond they never got the chance to fully explore. For Sarah, being called mom again, even if only in formalities, a bomb to her wounded soul. She may have lost custody of Victoria, but in Rachel, she's found something just as precious, a second chance at motherhood, a blossoming romance and a new family. As the summer unfolds, Sarah and Brady's relationship takes a romantic turn. There's no dramatic kiss in the rain or thunderous declarations, just quiet, genuine love that grows out of shared vulnerability. They're not to broken people trying to fill a void. They're to strong individuals building something new from the ashes of their past. Their romance catches Salem by surprise. But no one is more surprised than Anne Griffin, Johnny DiMera, Stacey Hayden. Kristen's green-eyed monster awakens. Kristen, who has been on her best behavior lately much to everyone's surprise, sees her world unraveling. Not only is Sarah getting close to her ex, but she's also becoming a mother figure to her daughter. For Kristen, who has fought tooth and nail to be part of Rachel's life, this development is more than insulting, it's a direct threat. And while Kristen has been trying to live a quieter, more controlled life recently, this may be the push that sends her back to her scheming ways. Jealousy and bitterness begin to fester, and it's only a matter of time before she starts plotting to win Brady back and eliminate Sarah from their lives. Meanwhile, Gwen returns with her own agenda. As the drama intensifies between Sarah, Brady and Kristen, another familiar face is making her return to Salem. Gwen Rizit Emily O'Brien is back starting July 7th, and her reappearance is bound to stir up trouble, particularly for her ex, Xander. Will Gwen seek revenge for the way Xander treated her, or could the old spark between them reignite? One thing is certain, Gwen never comes back without a plan, and it's usually one that leaves chaos in its way. With Xander now a full-time single father, he may find himself in Gwen's crosshairs once again. And given his shady method for winning custody, he may soon learn that getting what you want comes with a price. A surprising summer of second chances. This summer on Days of Our Lives, it's not just the heat rising, it's the emotions, betrayals, and unexpected turns of fate. While Sarah's journey began with heartbreak, she's now walking towards something she never thought she'd find again. Love, family, and hope. With Brady by her side and Rachel calling her mom again, Sarah's story is a testament to the idea that sometimes life gives us a second act on even more beautiful than the first. Next, the West, a family torn in two. It began with sirens. Johnny DiMera, the charismatic, often misunderstood son of E.J. DiMera, was arrested in the middle of a storm of personal feuds and tangled alliances. Salem PD, led by Detective Jada Hunter, brought Johnny into custody and a suspicion found no charges were made public at first. Present during the arrest was Belle Black, a long-time family ally who had once stood firmly in Johnny's corner. But this time, even she had no power to stop the wheels of Justicia what appeared to be justice from turning. "I'm sorry, Johnny," Belle whispered, her eyes filled with regret. Her voice barely cut through the rising tension in the room as Rafe Hernandez, a former police commissioner himself, entered the scene with fire in his eyes. His rage wasn't directed at Johnny, it was aimed squarely at Jada. "You're out of line," he snapped, clearly unable to separate personal frustrations from professional boundaries. "You shouldn't be the one handling this." Jada didn't flinch. Her voice was firm, her posture straighter than ever. "Stay out of it, Rafe. This is not your case anymore." Johnny stood silent, eyes wide, caught in the middle of chaos until a familiar figure burst through the doors. E.J. DiMera, his father, his lawyer. E.J. DiMera, the father, the lawyer, the fury. E.J.'s entrance was as theatrical as expected from the DiMera patriarch. Impeccably dressed, his expression was one of fury barely restrained. "I'm his lawyer," E.J. declared. His voice echoed in the room, shaking the walls of the police station and the resolve of those who opposed him. He glared at Belle. "How could you let this happen?" Belle looked away, unwilling to answer. Then came Chanel Dupree, Johnny's wife, who ran into the station seconds later, face pale with emotion. "Johnny, I believe you. I love you." Her words were a lifeline thrown into a stormy sea. And yet, they couldn't stop what came next. The cuffs, the booking, the quiet click of a fingerprint scanner capturing Johnny's prints. The silence that followed was more deafening than the arguments that had come before it. Paulina Price, mayor, mother, and enforcer of justice. While the arrest was emotional, the decision behind it had been cold, calculated, and above apolitical. Mayor Paulina Price, Channel's mother and Johnny's mother-in-law, had given the final order. In her office, Belle confronted Paulina. "You didn't even bring him in for questioning," she protested. "You just had him arrested." Paulina stood tall, her voice unwavering. "I'm not giving anyone the impression that Johnny's getting special treatment just because he's my daughter's husband or because you're his aunt." To Paulina, appearances mattered. Justice had to be blind, even if it meant alienating her own daughter, even if it meant tearing the family apart. Still, Paulina wasn't sure Johnny was innocent. She remembered the chilling way Johnny reacted to news that his father had been shot. So cold, so calm. Too calm. Belle, ever the optimist, believed Johnny. She clung to her, trusting him like a raft in turbulent waters. But before she could act on her instincts, her phone buzzed. A text message. "It's done. Jada is bringing him in." Belle looked up, her face pale. There was no going back now. Paulina turned to her, stern. "Take yourself off the case. You can't be objective." Belle nodded, heartbroken. Another casualty of the day's events. A daughter betrayed. At the police station, Chanel could barely hold back her tears. "You did this?" she asked her mother, her voice trembling. Paulina didn't deny it. She admitted everything. She had signed the order. She had orchestrated the arrest. Channel's face hardened. "I can't even look at you right now," she whispered. Then she turned and fled, her mother's voice chasing her down the hallway and heard, or perhaps ignored. In a back room, Johnny was being fingerprinted. Quiet, calm, alone. Tensions explode behind closed doors. Meanwhile, former Commissioner Rafe confronted Jada once again. "You really think this is justice?" he barked. Jada shot back, refusing to back down. "This isn't personal, Rafe. Johnny had the means, the motive, and the opportunity. That's what the evidence says." But Rafe didn't care about evidence. He cared about control, about pride, about the fact that Jada now held a position he once did. The argument grew louder, more hostile. Accusations flew like daggers, until finally, Jada had enough. "Go to hell, rave. I have work to do. She stormed off, leaving him seething in her way. Just then, Paulina entered the room. She looked at Jada and asked a question no one wanted to say out loud. Do you think he did it? Jada hesitated, not because she wasn't sure, but because the answer was complicated. I don't know if he did it, she said quietly, but I do know he could have. A town in turmoil. As the sun set over Salem that night, it did not bring peace. Johnny DiMera sat alone in a holding cell, the weight of betrayal pressing on his shoulders. Chanel cried in their empty apartment, wondering how everything had fallen apart so quickly. EJ paced like a caged animal, plotting revenge on everyone who had dared cross his family. Dell nursed a broken conscience. Paulina stared at her office wall, wondering if justice really was blind or just cruel. And Jada, she walked the quiet halls of the police station with a badge on her chest and doubt in her heart. Because in Salem, truth is never simple, justice is never clean, and love is rarely enough.
All new Days of Our Lives, only on Peacock.